Good morning. It looks like we're starting off down here today. My other camera looks like it's not going to work. I'll leave it. It's fine. I'm not going to fuss with it. How's everybody doing? It is Saturday. We made it. It is no longer the weekday. All right. So, for anybody who is new here, I'm Steven Anderson. I am a senior character supervisor on Overwatch at Blizzard Entertainment. Yeah, my segments are all about creating fun stuff. It's usually character related, mostly because that's what I do professionally. Um, and it's because what I enjoy. Do what you do, right? So yeah, here's what I've got right now. This is my character Flapjack. Okay, I've got a couple of things I want to be able to work on today. Let me kind of break down a list for you, cause let me see. Oh, this is. It's okay. I can still reuse this stick-it note. One of the things that I'll do regularly to be able to keep track of what it is that I'm doing for myself. Different tasks. Is I'll keep stick-it notes on the side of my computer, my Cintiq here, so that I can keep track of what it is that I'm doing. So I'm going to write down, let's get a dividing line just so that that's very clearly making a division there, because I finished those things. Okay, so Flapjack. I want to make sure that I get the strap, the chest strap, with the syrup bombs. Here, let's load in the load in the spotlight just so that we have it. Okay, turn off spotlight projection so we don't have to worry about that messing things up for us. Chest strap with syrup bombs. I want those to be something that's kind of like, breaking up this surface. Otherwise, the stomach feels really plain, really simple, right? So you got the chest strap with the syrup bombs. I wanted to make sure that I work on that strawberry. The knee and elbow joints. Oops, there's a T in there. Okay. And the bacon. You notice that, like, the concept, the bacon has like this really cool kind of crinkly bacon sort of flow, and the bacon that I currently have standing in for that bacon is kind of lame. It's like it's not really a whole lot of anything. So I want to make sure that I'm getting a little bit more of my my shape language from my concept, so that it feels right, so it feels good. So that's what we're going to try to do. In fact, I think I might take. I'm going to open up Bluescape so that I can keep track of some reference here. No longer August. That is correct. Does my stream say August somewhere? I hope it doesn't, because it shouldn't. Food demons. Jumping over into Bluescape so that I can try to see. You know what? Looks like I don't really have a thing set up for Sweet Tooth. So I'm going to say here. I'm going to show you guys what it is that I'm doing, so that I can say, all right, here. Let's go ahead and grab an image of this. Let's go ahead and say print screen. Drag that down. We'll drag this up. Cool. This light shot that I use for my screenshots, it's really, really helpful. I really like light shot. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and say, let's place that in here. Okay, it's not to the same level as these other characters quite yet. But we are going to try to get some stuff rolling here. Something like that works for now. Okay, so one of the things I want to do, I mean, you can see I've got a couple of others up here. I've got Tsushiyama that we worked on before. That's just me being me. Okay. Keeping track for yourself there. That's helpful. That's good. You know, we got to be helpful with ourselves. If you know, whatever. Ourselves are the most helpful people to be helpful to. We've got pumpkin spice, and we've got sugar down here. We got a few others that are going. Like we've got mystery meat that I need to put in here at some point. In fact, I've got. Let's see. Let's update. Let's update a little bit since we're here, just to be able to showcase what it is that we have done, where it is that we're at. Let's go to flapjack. We'll go up to character. In fact, we could go back into flapjack. We do have a turn, so might as well put that in here, right? Let's put in the turn. Since everybody else seems to have a nice, lovely turn. Okay. Same thing. Let's come back over here. Let's go back to character. Oh. We've got Sweet Tooth, kind of. But he's going to be like a work in progress. He's like, he's rough. Okay, so here's Mystery Meat, where he's at so far. Okay, so I'm going to want 2. And there's some things about him that I still want to change. But it's okay. We'll get there. Go ahead and grab that, and then we'll shrink it down. All right. So yeah, now we've got, you know, pretty much all of our characters to where they are currently. Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's see. The thing that I want to add here, just for the sake of reference, is let's grab. What I should have done is I should have hit my little webcam button on my stream deck, but I didn't. Flapjack is close to finish. We have some things that we're going to work on today. One of them being is strawberries. Okay. If anybody's interested in being able to get to my sites, here's my link for, you know, my link in bio. It's also down in the description below, but, you know, just kind of fun, kind of cool. I'm going to jump over here and say strawberry. 2 things that we want to try to work on today. This is a nice picture. I just want to like a clear picture that doesn't like feel too specky. This is kind of nice. This is a nice one. Yeah, this is a nice one. Let's grab this one. We'll say copy image. Come over here. Paste. Paste as image. Please. Okay, so we got a strawberry. Okay, this is going to be good just to be able to help us keep in mind what it is that we're trying to accomplish with the strawberry. Right now, the strawberry is very plain. Okay, let's get some bacon, and then we'll get some sweet rolls too. Okay, this is a great picture of bacon. That is so good. This is a nice one too. It's like I'm trying to find a good picture that shows like bacon with some good like waves and undulation. You know, it's just so much more fun. Close your Gmail. It's dangerous. Yeah, there's not really anything to see there though, so I'm not super worried. Yeah, let's. It says photo sculpture though. I don't know that I want anything that's related to sculpture. I want something that's actual bacon. It's like a lot of these are just like too flat. Too flat or like too straight on or just too boring. It's like golly, you guys don't know how to make crinkly bacon. Yeah, maybe we will just go ahead and use this picture. It might be the let's say print screen because it won't let me copy the image directly. Let's kind of narrow that in. Let's say copy that. Paste. Now it looks kind of like Mexico, but like chunky on the bottom. Yucatan got big. Okay, so we got that. Let's go ahead and find some sweet rolls. Or some cinnamon rolls or something like that. Just because this will kind of help inspire what those joints look like. Yeah, we'll just grab. I liked this picture up here. Let's just go ahead and grab this. It's got kind of a nice look to it. So we'll say copy image, and we'll put that over in here. Cool. Alright, so I've got like my three main things here that I want to be able to keep track of. I always want bacon. Happy I'm back to the food demons. Yeah, the food demons are fun, and you know, I do want to keep pushing them. I'd like to finish out building my what's it called, my toy series, because you know, they're fun. They're a lot of fun. So yeah, here's the idea. We want to go through and make a cinnamon roll. Okay. Now the easiest way that I can think of to make something that's a good base for a cinnamon roll is using this helix or the spiral 3D. I guess could work too. Let's start with that spiral because this should have some good initialized settings that we can play with. As you can see, like it has like a oh, so thick at the end comes to 0. So we want to make sure that this is set to something decent. You know, I'll say 25, 25, just for the sake of making sure that it's the same on both ends. Radius. I want to make sure that maybe like 2 or 3. Like 3. Let's put 3. Rotations. So coverage, we're going to bring this down. Something like that. That could work. Okay, now let's take our radius and kind of boost. Okay, we don't need to displace it at all, so we can just take that displacement and bring that down to maybe like not quite 0, because I still want it to have a little bit of growth there, and it'll be something that I can go through and kind of do on my own. But it's, you know, whatever it is what it is. Turn this to like 4, maybe to 8. Let's do 8. Just because 8 will be easy enough for me to go through and make it so that it's the shape that I want. Or we could take it and just, let's do this, because we can say 4. We could say the twist to 45. Twist to 45. So that way it's, you know, up and down the way that I want it to be. I want that displacement to be a little bit weaker. Let's say 0.15, something like that. I'll be scaling it up so it'll get more intense, but it'll be helpful to have it kind of like this. And then I want to get fewer divisions kind of going around the outside here. I don't want to have too many things to deal with. It just cleans it up. It just cleans it up. All right, we're going to commit it, and then we're going to go ahead and clean it up some. So let's do this. Say make polymesh 3D. Okay. And then we can just come over in here. Let's say subtool. Subtool, sort of cool. Say insert. Let's grab our polymesh 3D right here. Yeah, chunky cinnamon rolls. Okay, so now that we're over in here, let's go ahead and start cleaning this up. Okay, let's go ahead. We'll select lasso. We can just kind of hide one of these center loops here. Control Shift S. Okay, I see. I'm gonna do something here. Let's see if we can get this to. I'm going to say Control W, make sure that that's its own poly group. I'm going to mask it. And then with this bit right here, I'm going to come over and let's just say smooth. Too much smooth. It's a smooth, too smooth. And you can see like how extremely not cinnamon roll that looks like. So let's grow that up. Just gonna kind of push and pull, see what we can get in here. It's like there are a few things that I'm going to want to try to do to, you know, I mean we can hide stuff and look at stuff a different way, but yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and say double so that we can see the height of this. Okay, and then this should be the cap. I don't really want it to be I don't want it to be a crisscross crisscross applesauce. I'm trying to look and see what it is that we have here now. Okay, so this point right here, let's go ahead and drag that over so that it can become part of the swirl as I want it. And having a little bit of like hand control to these points, it can be kind of helpful, kind of useful. It helps it to feel a little bit more organic, right? So it should hopefully be a good thing. I'm going to take some of these and we're just going to drag them out so that it tries to fill in some of that gap. Yeah. I'm just going to try to get a little bit of a more level bottom side. It just makes it a little bit more helpful so that it feels more filled in. Getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Okay. So we've got this. Let's go ahead and say deformation. We'll say inflate. And now, one of the things I want to do, here, let's kind of smooth this out a little bit, just because that gets to be a little bit much. Let's grab this, make sure that this is coming out on top. Alright. Okay, so it's starting to be something. Okay, so first thing I want to do now that I've got this is I want to kind of cap the ends the way that I want them. So let's go ahead and say, let's say collapse edge. So that way we get that one edge going across there. We'll do the same thing down here. And then we'll just come down here and we'll say delete edge. So that way we can try to get rid of, there we go. So that way we've got full square caps, okay? Should be really, really nice. All I want to do now is I want to say crease, edge loop partial. In fact, what we could do is we could say geometry crease, and we'll just, you know, kind of crease our 45-degree angles or more. It'll probably give me creases in here in the middle, which I don't want. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that these creases along the middle are absolutely disappeared. Okay. It looks like something might be welding or something like that down there, so I want to check that out. Just try to see what it is that's happening. Yeah, somehow it looks like I lost some faces, which I didn't want to do. So let's do this. I do want to make sure that this is filled in. So we're going to bridge these. That didn't work. You know what? Maybe what I'll do. Let's say delete hidden. Bridge this. Bridge this. Bridge this. And bridge this. Actually, let's go ahead and say Control W, and now we can go ahead and bridge this. This way we can just go ahead and say mask a single poly. We'll grab this, and then we'll go ahead and we'll fill it in again, just manually. So I feel like this will be the easiest way for me to control this. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of do something like this. Really, really simple. We'll maybe raise that middle bit up a little so that it feels more cinnamon rolly. Let's take the crease. We'll uncrease all. I'll say... Let's go ahead. Oh no! Ah, dang it. Ah. ZBrush did not appreciate my smart working. Okay, let's see if it saved the Z tool. Yes. Saved exactly what we need. Okay, so let's pull this out. Oops. Didn't quite hit T there. Okay, so now that I've got these two here, I'm going to say polygroups, auto groups. Okay, make sure that they're, you know, somewhat different so that I can tell the difference between them. Okay, so we got that. We'll go over here and we will hide these ends. In fact, let's just do it this way. We'll just hide it like that, and we'll say auto groups. Come on, give me something different. There we go. Okay, so now we have a different group for the ends, we have a different group for the top, for the bottom, and for each of the sides. So now I can come over here and I'll just say crease PG. That'll be an easier way of going about getting my creases and things like that. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to take this and change up the creasing so that it's not so crisp, because that's a lot. Smooth subdiv, put that up to, you know, something higher. Okay, I want to also, let's add an edge loop going around. We'll mask it. We'll give this a little bit of an inflate. Let's go ahead and kind of pull this out. Something like that. Something like that. Just for the sake of the now. Okay. Something that's starting to look like a cinnamon roll. It's a little bit maybe too creased. So let's take that crease down from 2 to 1. And I like that a little bit better. That's nice. I'm just going to kind of use the inflate brush and inflate it where I feel like it needs it. This will help to get it a little bit more organic of a look. Yeah. I've been wanting cinnamon rolls for a while now. My best friend was making cinnamon rolls with his wife the other day, and he sent me pictures, and I was like, man, that looks so good. Let's kind of get a little bit more of like a raise here. All right, let me see. Now this may or may not be something that I actually end up keeping. Let's see what we do. ZBrush moment. No. Yeah, total vibes. It's like, it is what it is, right? Okay, let's turn that off. I am going to keep this cinnamon roll as kind of a base. We'll say rename cinnamon roll. Just so that we have the original model to go back to. And then I want to take this, I'll duplicate it, shrink it way, way down. And actually, let's take this this tail end here and kind of taper it in so that it feels like it's more part of the roll itself. Let's see if we can get more organic of a shape here. Like, it doesn't have to be the most perfect of shapes or anything like that. I just want it to feel right. I want it to feel like a soft, flaky, fresh cinnamon roll. Just kind of put this over here. There is. Let me talk you through this, because this is something that I feel like is important to me personally. The reason I'm doing this with like nice clean topology is that if I were to go through and you got to roll with the roll. That's how we roll. um, the the big important thing to me is being able to work in a flexible way, especially with these things that I mean it's kind of funny to talk about baking when you're talking about food-based characters. Um, but that's kind of the idea, you know. It's like I'm wanting to take these and make it something that I can turn into. Here, I'm gonna actually duplicate that and keep that as a base too. I want to be able to use these and reuse these. Sorry, that was funny. Um, but I also want to make sure that I keep my character's body more. What's the word I'm trying to look for with that? More to the standard. I don't want the body to feel like the polygons are being stretched out. I don't want it to feel like all sorts of things, right? Let's go ahead. Let's skip that note until next restart. We'll say material, color, fill object, and then what we want to do is we want to project the color from the character's body onto there. So I'm going to come down to project. We're going to turn off geometry, just leave color, and we'll say project all. Color's not, distance isn't big enough, so let's say project all. A little bit higher, project all. Come on, you. I know you want it. Let's put it all the way up to 1. And it doesn't want to. It's like it's self-projecting is what it looks like it's doing. Yeah, let's do this. Project all. I'm going to see about changing that projection shell. Nothing? Yeah, it's like it's not wanting to help me because it's probably because of the swirl that it has. So I'm just going to take what I have and make this work because you know that's good enough. Let's go ahead and kind of turn off Z-add, turn on RGB, just kind of fill that in. Okay. Cool. So now we got this, which looks really fun. Okay. I want to take the same surface noise that I have applied to the body. You can kind of see the detail that's going into this. It's not the most amazing thing, but it's something that still feels kind of, it feels textured. It feels more finished. So I'm going to come down here to surface. Let's grab this. We'll say edit, copy. Okay. Come down here to the cinnamon roll. We'll say noise, and then we'll say paste. Okay. So now we got that same surface noise on there. It helps it to kind of just blend in a little bit better. Okay. Now for this, I want to go ahead and say I'm gonna instead of mirror and weld to make sure that this is going over to the other side, I want to actually take it over to the other side manually. Because they're going to be, I don't want to change the direction, the orientation of that, what's it called, of that, of the roll, you know. I do want to change maybe the placement, like the orientation of it, but I don't want to change the direction of the roll itself. Okay, so I'm going to bring this over. Let's turn off perspective so that we can see whether or not we're lining up. Don't want him to feel like he's bust a cap. He rolled his knee. Sorry, I'll put the dad jokes away. Okay, so now it's like we've got these two rolls going into his knees, and it's starting to make the character feel much more um, more complete. And we just want to take these and put them on the back of the elbows now. So now that I have that there, I can turn on my symmetry. And this is gonna be cool, guys. This is gonna be so fun to see this. And I've been wanting to build this character out for so long. It's the second of the food demons. Um, yeah, he's been around a while. I just haven't done anything with them. And my kids have been like, "When are you gonna make flapjack?" And it's like, I don't know. I think that's the most fun part about it is just how into it they are. My daughter has gone through and she's made her own food demons, and she's like, she has fun with it. She has a lot of fun with it. These feel like they're sticking out too much. The color is also not helping, but it's we'll get that fixed here in a second. Okay, so let's get that color fixed. Okay, we got that masked, which is nice. Subtool, projectile, so we get that color change. Oh, it's getting the frosting on there. Let's go ahead, let's get that new. Okay, that's significantly better. Okay, so what I want to do is, like, right now I'm trying to look at this and figure out like how well I like. Yeah, let's go ahead and grab that. I want to kind of fill that in so that it's unique. Grab that, fill that in so that it's its own thing. Because the sides are, each side is a little bit different, I think, possibly. But that should be good. Like, check that out. Okay, so now now a couple of things that we want to do. I'll save the strawberry and the bacon for later. I still want to try to strategize what I want to do for that. The strawberry should be fairly simple. I just have to go through, create a dip, and then I'll make a seed IMM brush, like an insert seed brush, and then I'll go through and I'll put the seeds in the little holes that I create in the strawberry. So it shouldn't be too bad. Um, Sorry, I had to yawn. Didn't want to yawn in your guys' ear. I've already coughed in your ear, so might as well yawn, right? It's less offensive. um, let's see. I'm gonna pop this guy into a story. Discard. I forget about boomerang. Let's see. We're gonna say live. And then we'll put in a link. twitch.tv/pixelogic. See a preview just to make sure it works. Something's working. Never lose a link again. Ooh, allow link history. I like that. Cool. Hey, look at that. Asher Blume, you're on there. That's funny. Okay. So yeah, that's working. Okay, so we'll say done. I'll leave that kind of right there. Put it to my stories. And now if people want to come join, they can. I'll be on for a little bit over an hour just to be able to kind of check and see where we're at on schedule. Okay, it looks like the next stream isn't scheduled until tomorrow. Okay, so that's not too shabby. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's start working on getting a belt in here. I'm trying to think about how I want to do this. Okay, so let me pull up my print screen just for the sake of being able to do this. I'm trying to decide if I want to have, just like a simple, that might be like not wide enough. Yeah, let's get this. Something like this. Okay, which then would go around the back, or have something like this that also has like a belt kind of coming around here. I kind of like how much more complete this feels. So I think let's try something like that. I'm going to go ahead and let's say copy that. Let's pop that over into here. And try to rearrange my images just a little bit so that I can put things closer together, or cool. All right, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and make a belt, and we'll make a. And then we'll make a shoulder strap for that belt. Ooh, ooh, something else that sounds like it could be kind of fun. Okay, let's look something up. Let's look something up. Let's pull up our thing over here. Origin of flapjacks. Okay, so flapjacks are like a different thing in the UK, but we do them. Why do we call them flapjacks? The 1500s, the combination of the verb flap, sense similar to flip or toss, and jack, which comes from the proper name, a variation of John, and is sometimes used in the name of objects. Applejack, skipjack, interesting. Flapjacks versus hotcakes. Pancakes versus flapjacks versus hotcakes. So you're just talking about like an oat bar flapjack. Yeah, I suspect like flapjack as I'm utilizing it is probably more an American thing. I'd forgotten about these. Um, kind of funny, kind of funny. It's always funny to think about those sorts of things. But I was yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think about like what I can do to it to make it feel like it fits a theme. 'Cause I want the yeah, I don't know. Let's just start off by creating a version of the band. Let's start off with just this simple ring. I'm going to turn on symmetry so I can get this right in the center. And then we'll say split unmasked. Just going to kind of scale it up. Let's see, something like that for now. Let's go ahead and let's take this and we'll say Shift D. Kind of scale it up in that direction. It definitely feels like too thick. So let's go ahead and we'll say extrude. We'll say polyloop. And then we'll just kind of hold shift and kind of extrude it in so that it's less thick. but I want to make sure that it's the right amount of thickness in, you know, going around the body. Ooh, I think my wife is boiling some cider downstairs. It smells so good. I'm gonna bring this down. Maybe make this fit. I want to be careful about like where I put this, because if I put it too low, it'll kind of create problems when his legs are bending up and things like that. So yeah, we'll do something kind of like this. Let's use this as a color. Let's say color fill object. Okay, so we've got that going on in there. Let's crease the edges. Let's say crease, boom, just like that. And yeah, we'll set it up to a crease tolerance of 2 instead of 1, because that'll help it to hold its shape a little bit better. I'm trying to decide. Here, let me see. Let's just do this. I'm going to say, let's grab it, control click and drag, and turn off symmetry. Let's go ahead and turn on some ghosting here. Kind of pull this around. Just trying to make it so that it fits in. We'll delete kind of like the lower section of this ring, because that's going to in fact, let's go ahead and we'll isolate from here. Just want to make sure that I'm getting a couple of different pieces here. So now I can isolate this, modify topology, delete hidden. Actually, let's do this instead. Before we get rid of it, I'm going to utilize it. Okay, now we can get rid of it. Control T, there we go. Just kind of bring this out so that it fits our character a little bit better. Just trying to make sure that this is fitting his body nicely. Creating a good flow. I'm not a huge fan of the color yet. It's one of those things that we'll have to figure out at some point. But it should hopefully be enough to, you know what? Let's get more of this sort of color in there. It's like I'm like going through and I'm thinking, and it's yeah, it's funny. You the Roadhog guy? Are you talking about like Roadhog from Overwatch, or no? I haven't done a Roadhog yet. I've done a few other characters. Let me see. What's up? What's up, Steamworks? Flowerbag smokes, syrup jar grenades. I probably steer clear of things like smokes and tobacco, things like that. Um, but I, you know, the syrup jar grenades is definitely something that's in there. In fact, let me go ahead and bring in the spotlight. You can see here's my little syrup jar grenade. It's more. It definitely doesn't look like, you know, like a maple syrup jar, but you know it's still fun. Uh, Different Overwatch affiliates. It's hilarious actually, because at the on our team we have uh, there's me, there's another Steven, uh, that I associate with regularly. Um, oh, gotcha. That's funny. That's funny. In fact, yeah, it's kind of funny. Anyway, there's Esteban. There are a few other Stevens just from yesterday's Zoom call, and it was hilarious. Because like they were going through and we were sharing news from the team and things like that, and they introduced they introduced one Steve, and I said, "But not me," And then they introduced another Steven, and I said, "Still not me," And it kept going. It was like, "Not me again." So it's just, it was funny. It was funny. Okay, let's see about getting here. Let's say color fill object. I feel like having it like more of a similar color feels a little bit nicer. Um, but one of the things I want to do, let's come over here to my smartest painterly. The only thing I've got to do is make sure that that color is set down lower. Um, let's get that RGB intensity down a little bit lower too. This way I can get a little bit of like a color variation and a little bit of a gradient going into it, like we do on Overwatch. So it feels nice. Oops. Oh, come here, you. So that feels a little bit nicer. Yeah, let's see. I just kind of move this out some so that it feels like it's got a little bit more girth to it. But yeah, and that's one of the tricky things when you have a name that's so generic like mine. All right. With this particular piece, it could be cool to have it with like a different material. What do I have the plastic semi-rough? That's not quite what I want though. Let's see what else I have here. Rubber might be all right. Let's try that. Color, fill object. Let's make sure we save because saving is nice. Um, let's go to render. Let's hit Redshift render. Turn that on, and let's see. Let's see how this looks. I mostly want to see kind of like the material distinction between Captain Crepe. Yeah. Captain Kirk could be a fun one to go through and make though. Make him look like Captain Kirk. Or like a pirate. Pirate could be really cool. A French pirate. Okay, where's my sketchbook? Ooh, it's starting. Okay, so there doesn't really feel like there's any kind of material distinction between the straps and the body. Um, but it does feel like it changes, like rubber definitely seems to lighten up. I think it has probably some sort of what's it called? You want to see kind of like the differences between these two. This could be good actually. Let's do this. We'll keep that. We'll say it's like here I am trying to use my mouse again. Color fill object. Okay, and then let's see what that looks like. You're a Steven too? Awesome. Wee wee. You spelled wee wrong, sis. Ooh, okay, so Cap Captain Le Crêpe. The SS Iron Skillet. It's funny because it's like this material isn't quite showing. What material do I have for the eyebrows? Clay. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work because I know that that one does give me actual specularity. But it doesn't look like it wants to give it to. It's like, what's wrong with this thing? Maybe it's just a matter of it's not in a position to receive a specular hit or something. I don't know. But I mean, it should be working. Should be working. I'll just leave it as it is, though. Okay, cool. So we've got that. In fact, I'm trying to think. I might go ahead and grab a little lighter of a color. Let's grab the color from down here, or maybe color from a little higher up. Let's see. Let's do something like that. RGB. We'll take this down something pretty low, like around 20%. We'll say color, fill object. I just want to lighten it up some. It just feels a little bit too high contrast. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's make our little syrup vials. I see the shape of the concept. I thought I was a shrimp made of pancake. That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. I speak Korean, not French. Yeah, you should practice your Korean. All right, so that's coming along. That's looking cool. We got the cinnamon rolls. I should have done cinnamon buns. Maybe I will just for the joke of it. Okay, so it is working. I don't feel like it's working. And you know, if I decide later on that I don't particularly like this, then we'll do something different. But I'm going to put this in as cinnamon buns because I'm feeling real mature. I'm in my 30s. I'm entitled to. Okay, right now I'm just trying to make sure that it fits the surface. Oh, that's so cute. That's funny. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, instead of keeping the symmetry and whatnot, I'm going to come down here, polygroups. I'm going to say auto groups. This way I can very easily mask out specific buns and I can modify them individually. So now I can get them to butt up against each other. Kind of want these to feel like they are oriented more differently since they are right up against each other. It's easier to see when things are too similar. And so I try to give it a little bit more uniqueness. That's funny. Whether or not it stays, yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. Oh, painterly. Turn that up. So that color-wise, it fits in a little bit better. He definitely seems more decorated, more interesting now. So that's kind of fun. I might think about like adding some sort of like a strudel trim to this thing here. But I want to make sure that I'm careful about doing something like that because I don't want to make this feel like it has like too much competition. I feel like the nice thing about having the frosting on the arms is that it helps to create a bit of a balance with what's going on with the frosting, the whipped cream on the head, which I think might be actually a little bit big, but okay, let's go ahead and I'm going to get rid of that little extra groove that happened. I have no idea what it was from. Okay, so that's starting to feel a little bit better. It's kind of nice. Depending on how they're placed in the pan and the levels of yeast inside of your roll, you could have some pretty crazy growth in the areas versus others. That's very true. He's got a chunky booty. He's got a yeasty booty. Poor guy. Okay, let's make. Still trying to decide like some of these things with the body shape. I kind of want to streamline it. Let's kind of pull this out a little bit. Pull this out a little bit. Because like there's almost like too much of a hip sort of shape in here. And I kind of just want these to be, or this particular one anyway, to feel a little bit more streamlined in the forms and in the shape, less anatomical. Maybe it's a matter of making it so that the width happens. Okay, so I see something that's kind of contributing to that shape factor. Is like we're getting a little bit too much, I'll say, of a lean. Oliver's been coughing like crazy since last night. Not good. Okay. So that's kind of cool. That's working. Save. Yeah, the bacon bits are fun. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's make that little orb right there. Okay, so what I want to do is, let's go ahead, we'll say append. Actually, let's, before we do anything, I guess, let's say, oh, it's saving the recovered tool. Hold on, save as flapjack, replace it, please. Okay, I just want to make sure this is saving to the right place. It's crazy to see. It's like here's the original body as I brought it back from Maya after I had gone through and corrected the neck and being connected to the head. Now here's our new body, you know, and the way that it's been reshaped. Lots of change. So much fun. So much fun. Okay, so I'm going to say Control F to make a new folder, and I'll say, maybe I'll just do CHAR for char for character, right? Some of these things I don't need to keep in this folder, like these extra cinnamon rolls are not a huge deal to keep in there. But all these other things that belong to the character himself. Let's go ahead and put that on top of that. What is this? Oh, this is a block-in frosting bit here. Say delete. I'm going to try to get rid of pieces that I don't need. We'll say delete for that. We'll say delete for that. I don't think I'm ready for this jelly. Okay, say delete. Okay. I'm going to make sure that things are kind of in the right order. This is the egg yolk and the egg white. The frosting can go there. The nose needs to go above the jelly. Eyebrows above the eyes. Bacon can just come in here, but you know, below the head stuff. And then this is just the regular piece of bacon. I think the regular piece of bacon doesn't have quite enough definition to it to really make the shapes that I want. It's like it's just not enough. It's just not enough, you know? So let's do this. I'm going to take that. I'll shift tap that arrow, which will bring it all the way up to the top. Bacon, cinnamon roll, awesome. Okay. So now we've got this. This is the whole character. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to say append. I'm going to append my sphere 3D. I do want to like make this a lot more simple than it is. The easiest way for me to make this simpler is just by replacing it with a piece from my tools. Let's go ahead and just replace it with this, because this will be a nice, yes, kind of check the scale here. I do want it to be, you know, kind of big and chunky, but I mean, you can see like over here my concept, I have here, let me make it more opaque. My concept, you can see like the size, how big they are in relationship to his hands. Something interesting that I learned with like say for instance Overwatch, the characters have you know, say use Junkrat for instance, like he has his traps and his mine and things like that. Whenever he leaves those things, if he's holding them in his hand, they're one size, but whenever he leaves them, they're big and chunky, so that you can see them. Alchemist vibes, yeah, he's fun. So yeah, that's kind of one of the things that that I'm trying to consider with this. Let me go ahead and let's grab the color of the glass there. And I'm going to select, let's say glass. Let's just say regular glass. I might use the tinted glass and just use white though. I mean that could work. Let's check it out and see. It's not bad. Let's say geometry. Ooh, and here's something I want to do actually. Let's add one more subdivision level. We'll come in here to deformation and we'll say spherize, just to make sure that this is as much a sphere as I can make it. Okay, I think it's as good as I'm going to be able to get it. Cool. Cool. So here's what we're going to do. That feels all right. I'm going to accept that. Let's go ahead and say delete lower. And then what I want to do is select this. I'm going to say shrink it down. Control W. Oh, here. Bring everything back. Select that. Center that. Control click and drag. Let's really shrink this down a bit more. Okay, I just want to get like an extra little. Oh, in fact, maybe without even doing that, let's say circularize or what's the polish by groups right here, because this will get me a nice round shape. It's kind of hard to see with that material though, so let's switch to something simpler while we're doing stuff. Let's say polish by groups. We can turn that off if it's not going fast enough. It never is. Okay, so we got this going on here, which is nice, but it's not keeping track of like that roundness of the shape. So we're going to kind of try to get this bit here to smooth out. Let's say polish. You can see that's starting to feel a little bit nicer. Let's say polish. Relax. We'll say polish by, maybe not like that. We'll say polish by groups a little bit. We'll say polish by features, and then we'll just say polish so that it kind of helps build it back up a little bit. It's just kind of like I'm trying to find a good shape in here with using the most minimal amount of of effort possible. That's funny, sis. We're gonna have to talk to Ryan about that. All right. So something that I'm going to change with my Vial design is that right now the edge feels too thin in the design. So I'm going to make them a little bit chunkier in the final here. Okay, so I'm going to grab this. I'm going to get rid of that the green on top. But the other thing that I can do is I can keep it and just reuse it to be able to make the corks. The cork, not corks. You only need one cork for a vial. So anyway, so what we're going to do, geometry, subtool, split hidden. So now this is going to become the cork. Okay, so we'll say extrude all polys, and we'll just kind of pull that up. Bada bing, bada boom. Here's the start of our cork. Okay, rename this cork. I think that's how you spell it. And then vial, something like that. That was interesting. What just happened? I have no idea what just happened. That's kind of funny. Um, you do Funkle jokes. Best palette in ZBrush, Deformation Land. Yeah, it's like it's great because it gives you lots of cool options and lots of things that you can do, and it's fun to explore. It's just one of those things that's it's a lot to explore. Okay. The nice thing about this vial is that I don't have one particular pole on the bottom. I have three of these three-pointed stars. That's going to be really nice for me um, in keeping what's it called? Um, in keeping the shape smooth, so I don't have to worry about artifacting down on the bottom. It's just going to be a nice round shape all around. So we're going to do this. We're going to have let's do this. We're going to say extrude all. That's too much. Maybe there's something. Maybe let's go inward. Something that feels like it's got a good thickness to it. Okay, let's come down here to display properties. We'll say flip. So now this is facing out the right direction. And now what we can do, this is going to be magic. This is great. You guys ready for this? We're going to go ahead. We're going to insert edge loops. And it's going to add elevation. So it's going to create this nice shape here. I'm thinking I might take this and say bevel this so that it just kind of I don't know. I'm trying to experiment and see what it is that I like with this. I do kind of like that rounder shape though. That's kind of nice. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to add that same bevel to that inside. I'll add it to that top too, just so it has a good lip when it's connected to the cork. This does feel a little bit less chunky than I'd like. So let's we can't be having like too little chunk with this thing. Okay, Control Shift S. Do something kind of like I don't know. Now it feels kind of saggy. Here, let's see. Bring it back up some. I think maybe let's try something like this. I've got all this going on. Let's go ahead and say mask that. And then we'll take this up here. We'll kind of like that feels a little bit better. Now I just want to chunk up the top. Let's go ahead and hide those. Oh, got rid of something I didn't want to get rid of. Let's say Control W, Control Shift S, Control W. So that way I've got like a little bit of a buffer there. We'll grab this guy right here and we'll say center it. And that feels better. I do want to take this this little edge down though. I feel like that's a little bit too I'll say too high. Okay, just kind of bring this down a little bit. Yeah, there's a lot of like experimentation and playing for me when I'm when I'm looking at these things. That feels so much better though. I'm starting to see a little bit of those corners though, so let's kind of ease those out. And I'm just going to do it without the symmetry turned on, just because that'll kind of help to create a little bit more organic of a shape. Not perfect. We shouldn't be getting that bad of artifacting. Oh well. Oh well. We'll leave it. We will leave it and we will feel good about it. Let's go ahead, go back to that tinted glass. We'll say MRGB, color, fill object. Okay. Let's grab the cork. And I want this to have, let's give it the rubber material. Give it kind of like that yellowish sort of. There we go, that's a little bit better. Color, fill object. Oh, come on, give me a full fill here. Fill object, there we go. Okay, so now with this particular piece, the cork is going to be interesting. Let's turn off the character because we don't need it at the moment. Okay, the cork is going to be interesting. I want to, first off, let's start off by kind of shrinking it down, bringing it down inside of the vial a little bit here. One of the things that we can do, let's give it a little bit of a taper, just so that it's got a little more interesting of a shape. We got a lot of things that we can do with this. This is going to be quite nice. Here, let's see. I'm going to say inset these. Polygroup all. No! Oh. That's twice in one stream. Twice in one stream. Dang it. Save as. Back into Flapjack. Replace that. Please. Save issues. Yeah, the save issue is me. Here, let's say display properties. We'll say double just so that we can see kind of what it is that we're doing here. Okay. Z modeler. Inset. Polygroup all. Okay, I just don't want it to have the equidistant. I get just fine with the regular. Okay. So this cork is going to be kind of a fun little adventure. I'm going to take actually this this edge and I'm going to slide it down. We'll take the other one on the bottom. We'll kind of slide it up. We can kind of take. Come on, you. We'll say Control W so that it's the same. But then I want that deformation. I want to inflate just so it's a little bit bigger. We'll inflate the tops and the top and the bottom so that it just kind of makes the cork itself feel a little bit chunkier. Hopefully. Okay, so now to be able to make this work, what I want to do is I want to make some pieces that I can Boolean out of it. So I'm going to grab some IMN primitives. Okay. It doesn't particularly matter like what it is that I use. I'm just going to go ahead and grab this. And actually, let's bring the cork down to the bottom. Let's say split unmasked. So I'm going to say cork cut so that we know that this is like the Boolean pieces that come out of the cork. Okay, we can turn on our Boolean and turn on live Boolean so we can see kind of what it is that we're doing. Okay, so now I can just kind of click and drag and make different holes all over this cork. Okay, and this should help to make it feel really just really fun. Some of these I might want to make like really big and just kind of push and pull and make it so that it's not a sphere kind of being taken out of this, but just kind of flattening it out or whatever. And in fact, there might be some things that we want to do in taking this shape and just making it a little less regular so that it's not a perfect flat-topped cork. Help it to feel a little bit more designed and all sorts of things like that. So let's say insert multiple edge loops. Oh, we can say keep polygroup too. Come on, move brush. There we go. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn off the frame mesh there like that. You know what? Like this piece right here, I don't feel like I particularly like how that's working. Yeah, let's go ahead and skip that until next restart. Grab that. We'll say mRGB color fill object, so that way it's the same color as as the cork. It gives us a little bit better of an opportunity to test and see how things are working. Let's go ahead and maybe like pinch in a couple of places along here on the along the what's it called? Along the edge here. Turn on dynamic smoothing so that we can get some interesting shaping here. Come here, you, come here, you, come here, you. All right. I want to go ahead and add like a creasing. But again, like I want to keep this like low level creasing. Let's say crease PG. Turn on my dynamic smooth, and then let's turn up our dynamic smooth to something like 3, just so that it's a little bit smoother, it's a little bit nicer. Okay, so you can see some of the things that we have happening here. We're getting some interesting shapes going into that cork. We'll continue to modify it once we commit the Boolean, but hey, corky, it's a corky. You could have a dog made of cork, and it could be called a corky. Okay, I'm gonna make a folder. Cork. I'm gonna hit save. I'm gonna hit save before I do anything else. And then let's go ahead and let's say Boolean dynamic subdiv that whole folder. So now we've got this cork here that we can manipulate and do cool things with. That is a deep hole. That is like way deeper than it needs to be. Here, let's go through. I'm going to make sure that this is all, that they all have their own polygroups. Just so that this way I can manipulate one at a time. Let's go ahead and isolate this. I'm going to smooth it out so that it's not so deep. Smooth. Yeah, I don't like that. So here's what we're going to do instead. Let's hit delete. Okay, we'll come back up to this, turn that on, and we're just going to fix that piece. Let's go ahead and say, yeah, because it'd be this guy right here. So same thing, I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to come down and say polygroups, auto groups. Let's grab this guy right here and we'll just pull it out. That looks so much better. Okay. I can accept this. I can accept this tribute. All right. Cork, Boolean with dynamic subdiv. You see it's already done. So here is our new piece. So much better than before. Highly acceptable. Okay. So here's what we're going to do now. Okay, let's go ahead and open this like with the whole thing here. And we're going to try to reshape it so that it feels, you know, just slightly more interesting. Maybe use the standard brush and just give it like a little bit of kind of a shaping going in here. I'm just trying to find like a good balance and create like this interesting piece that I feel like that might be like flaring out too much. Maybe it's a matter of having a little bit of, nope, it's definitely not. Just didn't look good. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take hold on. It's like, I want to add another one down here. Kind of widen it out some, maybe. Okay. Something like that. Cool. Okay. And I want to do another one over here. Why not? Ooh, no color. No color. Maybe like another like companion spot next to it. All right. Maybe that's something that I'm missing from a couple of these though. Just giving like some companion spots. Okay, something like that. That looks cooler. We'll keep that. Save. Yeah, good job remembering to save. Thank you. We'll go to ZRemesher. Okay. We want to, let's say, not keep creases, detect edges. Adapt, sure, we'll leave that on. What I want to do, I'll keep that at 5,000. That should be fine. I'm going to hold Alt and hit ZRemesher. There are two different um, algorithms that go along with ZRemesher. The one that I feel like has served me the best has been Alt instead of the regular. Let's go ahead and run that again. Just kind of smooth some of these areas out that are not quite as clean. Then we can ask it to run again. It's kind of fun how it's going through and honoring the creasing on there and keeping those shapes nice and clean. Let's go ahead. I'm going to take all the creasing off, uncrease all. And then I want to take the ZRemesher. Let's take it all the way down to let's take it down to 1. See what we get. Not bad. How about we take it down all the way, see what we get. Bad. Maybe I'll just keep it as it is. Let's keep it at like the 5,000 mark here. This looks like it'll work just fine for me, and yeah, no need to ruin an all right thing. Let's kind of lower our intensity a little bit here. With this, I kind of want to add a little bit of variation to this bit here, to the lip. So I'm just going to kind of add like some flow changes here. Make it so that it feels a little bit less round too. Okay. I'm gonna see if I can find like an actual shape for this. Instead of having it or allowing it to feel like too wavy. I'm just gonna kind of push and pull this some to refine this shape. Okay. I kind of want to like bring this up. There we go. Oh, that's so much better. And you look, and it feels so unique. It feels hand touched, and that's cool. That's perfect. That's what I want. Cool. Okay. Save. Because you know. Okay, let's say mRGB, color, fill object, so that way that is ready. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to turn the character back on. We're going to make a new folder, Vial. We're going to bring both of those in there. Now, here's one of those tricks that I'm going to do. It does kind of look like cheese. I just happen to like cheese. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to get part of this filled up with maybe like a little bit more. I want about like this much full of syrup. Um, so I'm going to take this, duplicate it. We'll say modify topology, delete hidden. Okay. With the display properties, what I want to do is I want to say flip. Okay. And then we'll close up the top two here in just a second. In fact, let's do it now. We'll say close, convex hole, polygroup flat. We can make our resolution whatever we want to. I'm just going to bring it down to the lowest amount that I can, just so I get a nice simple top. And I just want to make this into like, I want to make it into a coffee, wine, white wine, somewhere in between there. I'll say the red wine, or because that might read like a, not like coffee, but like a maple syrup. Maple syrup. Let's go ahead, take that color away. We'll say mRGB color fill object. Okay, so that looks pretty cool already. That looks pretty stinking cool. Good golly. Go ahead and we'll grab that. We'll grab that. So that way it holds its shape better. Red, red wine. Okay. Turn that off. So now if we wanted to, what we could do is we just turn off the character. Go back up to the vial. We need to unhide it. I want to test this out. I want to see what this is going to look like. So let's go ahead and say redshift render, turn on redshift. We'll turn that on and hope that it doesn't crash. Disco ball. Yes. Now the glass for the vial itself looks a little bit too dark. It's like the refraction is too heavy, things like that. So let's see about changing from that tinted glass. Let's just change it to glass. Let's see what that looks like. I mean, you can definitely see everything much better. The wine looks much more like wine, though. I don't really want it to look like wine, so let's go ahead and make some adjustments. It might be as simple as just adding a little bit of like a brown color to it. Color, fill object. It still feels too red. Okay, one last time, and then yeah, I think it's just the material. Like the material doesn't want to be anything other than what it is. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab red wine. Let's say copy material. And I'm just going to paste it over something that I don't need right now. So I'll grab this. I'll say paste material. So now this is something different. Okay. What I need to do, let's go ahead into our materials, open that up. We'll say modifiers, and we'll take a look at what it is that we're getting here. Refraction. This is what's giving us that color. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to something that's a little bit more on the orange brown sort of side here, if it'll let me. Okay. That should be a little bit better. Refract weight, okay. Refract roughness. Let's take the roughness up just a smidge. Let's see what this gives us. Oh, we gotta change it so that it's filling that material. now let's try it. See, there we go. It's starting to look a little bit more like what it's supposed to be. Maybe I'll take that refraction. I got a few things I'm trying to look at real quick to see what I can figure out. The glass shader is feeling one. It's feeling too glossy. It's feeling too glossy, and then it's also feeling a little bit too refractive. So it's blowing things out of proportion a little bit too much. And it's like, the thing that's happening is that we're getting like this massive dark spot in there. We don't want it to have the dark spot. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this material, and we're going to say save. Let's go ahead into our Maxon ZBrush. We'll go into the Z data, and then we have materials. We have Redshift materials, old startup. I'm going to go into here. Okay, so we got the glass, we got the clay. This is the folder I wanted it to be in. I'm going to say SMA syrup, and then if we make any changes to it, we can go through and replace it. The glass needs to be a little bit different, just to make sure that I'm grabbing the right material. So we're getting the glass. Okay. I want to look at this and say, okay, so we got the reflection index of refraction, IOR index of refraction. Let me see. We got the refraction index of refraction, which, it's just kind of interesting. And it's all set to 1.5. I'm going to look at refract. Let's change this down to, please don't crash, something like 0.6. Save. Oh, look at that. So if we get a lower number, it's actually going to and this all I changed was the refract weight. It's interesting to me that would cause that kind of a change. Interesting. So if we take that that refracting up, let's take it all the way back up. Okay. The refract roughness, let's bring this up to something. Sorry about that. All right. Cool. So now we're getting that refraction. That roughness is helping to kind of color things up, or to frost things up a little bit. I want to give this a little bit of a color, kind of like I have in my concept. So I'm going to bring this down, something like this. RGB color fill object. Is this going to do anything good for me? That doesn't feel like it's doing anything for me. So it might be something that I have in the material here. Let's say refract. Let's bring this up to this color. Okay, that looks like it did something. Colored glass. It's definitely like way too strong. So let's do something. Let's kind of take this up this direction. That looks like it's already a lot better. It's interesting. We're starting to get some interesting. Oh no. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not even worried about that. Okay, we should be all right. This syrup. I want to see about taking it and let's say deformation. We'll just say inflate 1 in a negative direction. Cool. That's looking better. The cork doesn't look great, but this is starting to look a little bit better. Something that I would like to achieve with this, though, is that the syrup itself. Sounds like my son's playing Overwatch right now. It's fun. So here's what I want to do. I want this to feel like it is more floating on the inside. And so maybe it's a matter of, having the vial, and then instead of maybe even using like a different material, but let's go ahead and let's play this. I want to try to play with the thin film thickness and that sort of stuff instead. So maybe instead of having my refraction be so heavy, how can I do this? How can I do this? Let's play with this instead. Let's add a different material. I think there's a thin film glass. Let's say simple glass, not frosted, simple glass, clear. Let's say material, fill object. Hey Carbon, how you doing? How are you doing? Okay, so in fact we can just kind of click and drag up to something like that so that we have a similar refraction color to what we had with the other version of the glass. This already feels like it's going to have more of that floating sort of effect. You can definitely tell that we've got some weird penetration with the cork and the glass. It's really interesting to see kind of the difference that we're getting with these things here. I'm going to try boosting that thickness and see what this does. I want to take that thickness and turn it to 10. Just something ridiculous, something super different. Like we're definitely not getting quite the effect with this glass that I was hoping for, which isn't great, but we'll go back to the tinted glass because that one treated me kind of all right, you know. Just make sure that I have the right thing selected. Color, fill object. Cause like this is just like way crazy. It's crazy. Was that what we were working on? Was that the material that we were using, or was it this glass that we were using? It might have been this glass actually. Yeah, it was this glass. Okay. Cool. Anyway, I'm gonna call it good for now. I'm gonna save this glass so that it's I didn't even take a picture of how it looked. We'll say SMA. I should have said tinted glass, but oh well, it's okay. Let me see. What else should we do for right now? That cork is like not a great material, so let's change to clay because why not? Color fill object. Okay. Save. The syrup might actually benefit from being a different material. We'll have to see. Cause like right now it's just like it's filling in that that space a little bit too much. I'm getting kind of like a weird. I think this might be like an intersection with the. Or you know what? I'm gonna print screen this bad boy right here. Pop it over into my Bluescape so that I can keep track of progress there. Okay, syrup. Let's give this one this material as well. Just color fill object. It's got the wrong color to it, obviously. A little bit more red, something like that. Okay, one last render, and then we'll move on from from render testing. Okay, so okay, never mind. Okay, okay. Stop. I want to. There we go. Now it looks like it's getting rid of that extra line there. Okay, that's a little bit better. Take a picture of that and put that into Bluescape. We'll see if what we can do to make sure that this is a little bit better at some other point, but that'll be good enough for now. Let's turn on the character. We'll grab the vial. We'll say transpose set. We'll just drag it out here to the side so that it's next to him. Okay. Playing with Clo 3D. What's that? What is Clo 3D? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. This strawberry needs to have some subdivision levels. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a few subdivision levels in there. Let's see what we have so far as dynamic. Dynamic is turned on. I don't want it turned on at the moment. But what I want to start figuring out is what I want so far as seed size. And I want to make sure that it's going to read from a distance. It might be worthwhile actually. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a single seed. I'm going to say bend curve. So we can kind of pull this out, and then we can scale it so that we get a little bit more of a seed shape. Just gonna like zero out my rotation. Oh, and we'll say split unmasked. Okay, so now we have this seed here. Just gonna kind of like flatten it out one way here. Cool. So there's our seed. So now what we can do is we can just go ahead and make a brush out of it. Create, insert. Oh no, not the multi-mesh brush. Create, insert mesh brush. New. Just so that this is a seed. I want this to be a seed. I only need one, so I'm not going to worry about renaming this. But yeah, it's just going to be helpful to have a seed. Here, I'm going to take this, and I'm looking at it from like different distances. That feels like it's probably a decent size. So let's say, let's grab this. We'll figure out what kind of color we need it to be. I do kind of want it to be a little bit saturated. Say mRGB, color, fill object. And again, I mean, it needs to stand out at a distance. So what I might do is kind of come through here, kind of paint that up a little bit. I mean, that feels all right. Here, let's do something like that. Okay, so let's say, let's put this into place. Let me see. Yeah, I'll call that cool. So let's say, let's come over here to the insert mesh brush. And I just want to kind of like click and then hold control and drag out until I get my full strawberry shape here. Oh, I gotta adjust my depth. Here, let's go ahead, let's brush depth. Let's just put this down so that it's at 0. It doesn't really have to be anything crazy. Maybe even a little less than 0, because what's going to happen is that I'm going to be kind of cutting into the surface. Yeah, -25 might work. Yeah, that should be good. And I'm spacing these out a pretty decent amount. I want to make sure that they feel like they have their space. Yeah, let's go ahead and give that one more kind of in the middle between those two. And then there'll be like slightly more seeds as we go down. Let's go ahead and turn off the whipped cream because we don't need that at the moment. Okay, that's a little bit too irregular. It's like I'm trying to find like a regular pattern, because like strawberries tend to have like that like alternating like right in the windows sort of pattern going along. So I mean, I'm trying to do something with that, but I'm also trying to do something slightly bigger. Add a few more seeds going around the top up here. Although that might be going up too far. We'll have to wait and see. Cool. I'm going to call that good. That looks pretty good. Okay, some of these seeds, maybe I'll make them get a little bit more yellow as they get down toward the bottom. Just to have like something of a gradient going into these things. Okay, so now with the strawberry itself, we're going to do like what we were talking about a second ago. We're just going to come in here, oops, with the standard brush and just kind of drag into this. Okay, some of these details, this might feel a little bit strong, but it should hopefully be, you know, just strong enough for what I need. So we'll go through, we'll just kind of add in these little indentations, and then we'll smooth to try to get the indentations to even out as much as possible, so that it feels like there's kind of a nice even what's it called? Like a good fun flow going from seed to seed to seed. Okay, say that looks pretty dandy. Let's go ahead and turn that cream back on. Oops. Now let's go ahead and turn off the color. Turn on our smooth. Okay, I'm trying to decide now because those seeds definitely feel too big. Yeah, save. I'm going to go ahead and say save as. Let's go ahead and version up. I'm going to try something different with the seeds. Okay, so we're going to do something like this. I want to get, well, not get rid of. We're going to, because like the seeds are definitely not quite right. I'm going to say split hidden, just so we have something to start from. Turn those off. I want to see about trying a version where this is smaller, because I think really, like, if I just go through and make a strawberry that feels a bit more naturalistic, I think it should feel fine. It should feel fine. Let's go ahead, we'll save this. And you can see, like, total, we're still under You know, we're only just over 500,000 polys. This is what our character's looking like so far. So this is fun. This is fun. Okay, so about that size. That should be about right. Okay. 3D fashion design software. Okay. Okay. I mean, it kind of makes sense. It sounds like it could be something like that. All right, so let's grab our brush again. I'm going to turn off the cream and the stem so that we can see our strawberry, and we're gonna try to be a little bit more. Actually, with the stem, let's have the stem on. We'll just have it as just the stem instead of the stem with the leaf. Let's come back down here. Let's start drawing out these little seeds. And it's like I was saying, I mean, they don't have to be perfect, but I think that having the idea of you know, like going and alternating down so that it's like we have our row and then our row kind of shifts. And then we just kind of shift, and then we shift, and then we shift, and then we shift. You know, so it's just a matter of going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. There are other ways that you can do this. I want to do this hand placed, just because I feel like it's what I want to do. But you could also do this with like nanomesh. You could also do this with you know, like if we're talking about like full-on production, you could do this with Substance Painter, Substance Designer. There are likely some sort of tools inside of like Cinema 4D that you can do something like this with as well. Houdini could do this. Maya um, with the different what's that called? I'm blanking on it now. I use it all the time. Wait. Oh my goodness. It's the red one. It's the mash. Using mash. So yeah, I mean, there are options. Okay, so you can see this is starting to feel much more predictable, much more strawberry-like. I think I'm liking how this is turning out now. I can appreciate this. You know, going back and doing it more, I'll say naturalistic. style with this, I think, helps. Let's see, let's add this one right there. We'll add this one in. We'll add this one in. We'll add this one in. Cool. Okay, so there's that strawberry. We'll do the same thing like we did earlier. Just grab like something that's more yellow. And we'll use our painterly, and we need to save out that strawberry seed brush too. Okay. Nice. Okay, where's that strawberry seed brush? There we go. We'll say brush, save as. I'm going to put it into my Flapjack folder, actually. Let's say, or maybe not even to Flapjack folder. We'll say assets. You know what? Just restructuring everything. Library. ZBrush. And then I'll just call this SMA seed. Just so that we have it. Heading out for the day. Thanks for stopping in, sis. I'll probably head out for the day too at some point. Okay, that looks much more strawberry-like. I can appreciate that. Okay, so now what we want to do is we still want to have. In fact, I'll take these seeds and I'll say delete because we don't need those anymore. With this strawberry, I want to use a sculpting layer, so I'm going to go ahead and create a layer. It's not terrible that it's all black right now because it'll give me you know what? I'm curious. Here's what I'm going to do. Let's delete this layer. I'm going to try something else instead. Let's try a morph target. I'll say store morph target. And then I'll say this, and I'll go ahead and I'll do my sculpting now that I've got a morph target saved. Let's turn these things off again. That and the cream. Okay, so we're starting to get more of a strawberry look now. In fact, I kind of want to let's turn off the hat just so that I can see things down here a little bit more easily. I feel like I'm like slowing down. My energy's like, It's been quite a week. Here's one that we missed. I'm just trying to go around and look and see if they're like where we missed any, because I know for sure that there are some that we have missed. And now we're finding the mother lode of all missed seeds. But yeah, this is looking good. This is looking acceptable. I will definitely keep this. Now, I also want to go through. I should have done this when I was drawing it out, but it's not a huge deal. So now we have this. I'm going to go back down to my morph target. I'm going to say switch. Let's come over to layers. We'll say new layer. We'll go to morph target again. We'll say switch. Turn off record. So now we should, yeah. So now we can go through, we can kind of dial in and out between the two. Okay. So workarounds, right? I didn't want to have to worry about losing my color to be able to see what that was going to be like. But it worked out. We got it. We got a strawberry on there. So now, like, oh, the hat. I need to turn that hat on. I was like, it doesn't look right. What's wrong? Whoops. Hey, Mosen, how you doing? So yeah, I think this might be where I leave it for today. Um, it might be worthwhile to grab here. Let's say duplicate. Okay. Transpose set. Let's kind of take this, move it around. Now, the size of this thing, I want it to be small enough that I can have like 3 of them going across his chest. Or even hanging on his waist. I don't know. Like we'll have to figure out what it is that we like. But so that's kind of what it looks like just as is. I don't know that I particularly like having it angled. I want to make sure that I can see the cork because I feel like that's kind of an important aspect of it. It might be worth even having it, instead of having it on the front, having it on the back. You know, something that he has to reach around and grab, and it becomes something kind of like that. Obviously, it's not attached very well. We could create something like that. I'll just turn off the other vial for now. We'll grab this and we'll say duplicate. Okay. Transpose set. Oh, not that one. Delete all. duplicate. Okay. Grab this one, transpose set. Okay, that's better. It might be something that's cool to have like 3 in a row. Here, say duplicate again. Transpose set. Just kind of rotate this around so that it's a little bit different. And I want this to be kind of placed opposite of the one on the other side. So I'm going to say transpose set, transpose add. Come on, transpose add. It's not wanting to do it. Transpose set. Okay, I'll just, maybe it's just that there we go. Okay, so there are like 3 vials that he can carry around with him and throw and do things with. In the end, he will probably only end up having like one in each hand, one that he's throwing and one that's been thrown. You know, just to be able to load that spotlight in again. Let's go back to Flapjack. So there's my concept. Okay, that's what he's going to end up being like. Okay, lots of fun stuff going on with him. Lots of work left to do to make him so that he's in this position and feels that you know, that level of appeal. I still want to try to figure out something different for the cream on his head. You know, because even though it looks good from like a couple different angles, it doesn't look good from this main angle. And yeah, so that's something I gotta kind of work out, figure out at some point. But yeah, that's where he's at. Let's go ahead. Let's take this. Let's say turn on perspective. I might take one of these. Let's say duplicate. Okay. Transpose set. Just put it over kind of underneath the hand. Cool. And then we'll turn the other ones off, just so that they're not in the way. And then, and there we go. There is our little dude. Here, let's go ahead and kind of make this so that it's a little bit more of an appealing angle from that side. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Make sure that that's saved. Sweet Funkle joke. Go ahead and render that and kind of see what that looks like so we have something nice to look at while we wrap up. Ah, man, 10:30. Cool. Not too shabby. Is it gonna work? We'll pretend it's gonna work. Man, that's been a good morning. We were able to get some fun stuff done. We were able to kind of pull things around and yeah, made a strawberry. You know, how many Saturday mornings can you say you woke up and you made a strawberry? That's fun. That's looking great. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. There are definitely some things that need some pushing, but we'll make it happen. Thanks for coming by, guys. Thanks for hanging out and saying hi, and you know, hopefully you had a good time. I had a good time. It's fun working on these guys. So, actually, it rained last night. It's not currently raining. No. I'm hoping it rains a little bit more though. We need the air to clear out some. It is what it is. LA. For anybody who's interested in participating, the ZBrush Sculpt Off is going to be happening coming up before too long. I would totally recommend going and jumping on that. Registering, it's 3 hours. You take 3 hours to use whatever is nice. Whatever is natively installed in ZBrush, and you create. There are themes. The theme is amazing this year. It's extremely elaborate and very well thought out, but you have a lot of choices of what it is you can make. Um, so yeah, totally jump on that. Really, really neat. Um, Let me see. I'm trying to think. Trying to think what else, what else, what else, what else, what else, what else. Also, the ZBrush Summit. You know, ZBrush Summit's coming up this month. I'll be there. So if you're in LA area, come hang out. Come say hi. Lots of cool things happening. Lots of really cool presentations, including some friends from work that'll be doing a presentation. Uh, yeah, it should be pretty cool. Yeah. I'll call it right there. Thanks for coming and hanging out. I appreciate having good people around, and gosh, look forward to seeing you all at the summit. Smartest out.